thing. I got kids, grandkids that are still in public schools. But I believe that kids, our slogan with the 100 Black Men as the mentor chair, our slogan is what they see is what they do. And we need to have more people implemented in a system that they can relate to. I have nothing against anybody else that holds a seat in the school board, but I know with my background from me not being raised well, I come out the projects, some projects, got in trouble, ran the streets. So I know the language, I know the struggle, and a lot of times kids are last out in school. A kid may be sleeping in the house. I had an incident when a kid was sleeping in class, and they just brought the kid to the principal office and suspended the kid. They didn't even know what the kid was going through. They didn't even try to find the why. And the why was that his mom would get beat every night by the boyfriend, so he would stay up all night to protect his mom. So they wouldn't even, if they were to dig more deep into that, they probably would be able to identify the cause, and get family needs of service involved. There's many different variables that can happen. But my main reason for that is basically what y'all talking about. We do project choices with kids that's in juvenile kids, and also with the adult kids 18 and older, up to like 65, we do drug court. And as a life coach, I know Consuela and Marcus are life coaches as well. I learned in my journey as a life coach that mentoring don't stop at 18. Mentoring lasts a lifetime. I'm 47 years old and it may look like I'm doing everything right, but I got a life coach. So we got to have people that are rooted and grounded, that could be able to identify the root cause, understand the why, and be solution solvers. Because a lot of times we dwell on the problem and we forget about the solution. So we got to get the solution than the problem.
Absolutely. That I'm gonna piggyback off that because that just reminded me, right? Like one of the things that I often for any, whether it's students in schools or it's people in the community, we talk about focusing on the assets somebody brings instead of the negatives, instead of the deficits, right? And I do seminars and trainings with teachers all the time. And I always ask them to think about like that one student who's a troublemaker all the time, getting in trouble, right? I say like, so what does that student bring as an asset? And they sit there and they think for a while, and a few of them, they could be really, really, great if they applied themselves or something. I was like, no, saying that like they'd be great if they applied themselves is just a really nice way of saying you're lazy, right? But I say every single time, I'm like, an asset that kid has, they're persistent. Somebody's getting in trouble all the time, no matter what happens, they're persistent, right? You put any barrier in their way that's supposed to stop them from doing that thing, they're still doing it, they're persistent, right? And so, 100% seeing what people bring to the table is vitally important to all of this work, and making connections, I think is vitally important to all of this work. So, and to answer your question, Sway, about school boards, I think some people in the school system know, but I think there are a lot more people who have myths about schools and education than they do actuality, right? It wasn't until last year that they outlawed corporal punishment. Are people familiar with what corporal punishment is? Right? Paddling and spanking students at school, right? That doesn't actually have any benefit. Like, we got tons of research on this, and it doesn't have any benefit for changing behavior, helping students in school. It makes kids terrified of going to school.
I got paddled because I didn't want to take my medicine.
I'm from New Orleans.
Something simple like that.
I'm from New Orleans, and when I'm 52. I'm from school, they used to paddle us like this a high. And all they did was we got in trouble with, like I said, me and this young man right here got into it. When I got paddled across the wrong and nothing happened to him, all they did was raise the fuel in between and started no game fight. So paddle didn't work that way because they never sit down and talk with you. All this man wanted to do is put his bullet on me.
Yeah, and you know what, I always tell teachers, and I tell anybody, right? You have to be, and similar to what you mentioned, you have to be solutions-oriented, not problem-oriented, right? Because if you focus on what do you need to solve this issue, then you're not going to have the issue anymore, right? Whether it's stress, whether it's conflict, whether it's like, I stay up all night so I don't get any sleep, whether it's I have a conflict with somebody else, you gotta be solutions oriented, not problem oriented, right? Problem oriented looks like, you got in a fight, you punched him, that's the issue. When solutions oriented said, okay, what caused you to punch him and get in a fight? What caused you to sleep in class? Get into those underlying issues. That's why simple solutions don't solve complex problems. But we're full of people who want just those simple solutions. I'm going to see them all year as we have a run for governor. Anybody else want to share or comment? I love the conversation. I'm just having a good time up here.
So I have I would like to speak on the Children and Youth Planning Board.
Oh yeah, let me sit back.
So,
Good.
we,